You wake up exhausted. You slept enough hours. You did not work harder than usual. But your body feels heavy, and your mind feels slow. You assume this is normal. Everyone seems tired these days. Stress. Modern life. Too much going on. You accept the explanation and move on. Thoth recorded a different explanation thousands of years ago. He did not use the word exhaustion. He used a different term, Ka Dispersion. The Ka was the energy body in Egyptian understanding, the structure that holds vitality, focus, and presence together. When the Ka disperses, energy scatters. You keep functioning, but you function at minimum capacity. Everything requires more effort. Nothing feels easy anymore. This is not aging. This is not weakness. This is a specific condition with a specific cause, and the cause operates without being seen. Modern neuroscience began identifying this pattern recently. Researchers call it attention fragmentation. Human attention has limited capacity. Every time you shift focus, you spend energy. Every notification costs something. Every interruption takes a toll. Every stimulus requires processing. Your brain does not distinguish importance automatically. It processes everything that enters. If you receive 300 inputs per hour, your brain processes 300 inputs. Relevance does not reduce the cost. The energy expenditure remains constant. Thoth described the same mechanism in different language. He said attention works like fire. Every direction you point it consumes fuel. If you point it in 1,000 directions, the fire splits into 1,000 fragments, 1,000 weak flames. None strong enough to illuminate anything. None strong enough to warm anything. None strong enough to transform anything. There is a reason you feel depleted, even without physical exertion. Your body rests when you sit or lie down. Your mind does not stop. Even when you try to relax, mental processing continues. Worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, comparisons with others, judgments about yourself, rehearsals of conversations that may never happen, replays of conversations that already happened. Each thought consumes energy. Repetitive thoughts consume more, because the brain processes identical content multiple times. Each repetition costs the same fuel. Thoth called this the wheel that spins without moving forward. Constant motion, zero progress, maximum wear. You feel like you worked all day. You accomplished nothing meaningful. The energy went somewhere, but not toward anything you chose. Thoth identified another factor that most people miss. He taught that human energy does not simply disappear. It gets directed outward. You give attention to screens. You give attention to news. You give attention to social platforms. You give attention to other people's conflicts. You give attention to entertainment designed to capture you. Each act of attention transfers energy. You receive nothing substantial in return. You process content. You react emotionally. You consume passively. At the end of the day, nothing remains for you. This transfer does not happen by accident. Thoth indicated that systems of influence understand this mechanism well. They design stimuli specifically to capture attention. Captured attention equals transferred energy. Transferred energy equals surrendered power. You fund external structures with your own vitality. You call it staying informed or relaxing. But the exchange always moves in one direction, away from you. Ka dispersion follows a predictable sequence. First stage, attention scatters. You lose the ability to focus on one thing for extended periods. Minutes feel long. Concentration requires unusual effort. You start tasks and abandon them. You forget what you were doing. You feel pulled in multiple directions simultaneously. Second stage, memory weakens. You forget what happened yesterday. You forget recent conversations. You forget commitments you made. Not because your brain is damaged, because it is overloaded. It cannot consolidate properly when fragmented. Third stage, willpower decreases. You know what you need to do. You cannot start. The gap between intention and action grows wider. Procrastination becomes default mode. You have ideas but no execution. You have plans but no movement. Fourth stage, the body responds. Physical fatigue without clear cause. Pains that make no medical sense. Sleep that does not restore. Heaviness that persists regardless of rest. Thoth taught that these four stages form a cascade. Attention first, memory second, will third, body fourth. The fragmentation begins in the subtle layers and descends into the dense layers. By the time it reaches the body, the condition is already advanced. Most people only notice at stage 4. By then, they seek physical solutions for a non-physical problem. Most people try to fix the problem from the wrong end. They take supplements for energy. They order medical tests looking for disease. They change diet. They change jobs. They change relationships. Nothing works for long, because the root is not in the body. The root is in attention. Thoth indicated that real restoration begins at the level where damage began. If fragmentation starts in attention, restoration starts in attention. Treating the body without treating attention is like mopping water without closing the faucet. The leak continues. The floor stays wet. The effort never ends. There is a simple test to measure your fragmentation level. Sit in silence for 5 minutes. No music, no screen, no external input. Choose one point of focus. Your breathing works well for this. Count how many times your mind wanders away. If it wanders more than 10 times in 5 minutes, fragmentation is active. If you cannot complete the 5 minutes, fragmentation is advanced. If the idea of sitting silent for 5 minutes seems impossible, your system has become dependent on constant stimulation. This test carries no judgment. It provides information. You need accurate information to take accurate action. Thoth left a protocol for reversing Ka dispersion. He called it gathering the Ka. The process requires 7 days. Not because 7 has mystical properties, because the human nervous system needs this duration to recalibrate. Shorter interventions do not consolidate. The brain reverts to previous patterns. 7 days establish new baseline. Day 1. Reduce external inputs by half. You do not need to eliminate everything. Reduce. Less news consumption. Less social media. Less unnecessary conversation. Less background noise. Every input you remove frees energy. Energy returns to you instead of flowing outward. At the end of day 1, notice how you feel. Most people feel discomfort. This discomfort signals dependency. The system protests when deprived of expected stimulation. This protest confirms the process is working. Do not interpret discomfort as failure. Interpret it as evidence. Day 2. Add 15 minutes of intentional silence. Not elaborate meditation technique. Silence. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes, do nothing. Let your mind do whatever it does. Do not try to control thoughts. Do not try to stop thoughts. Observe without intervention. This exercise trains attention to exist without external input. It sounds simple, it feels difficult for fragmented systems. The difficulty is part of the training. Do it regardless of difficulty. Day 3. Identify your primary drainage sources. These could be people who consistently deplete you. These could be activities that leave you empty. These could be environments that feel heavy. These could be habits that seem harmless but cost energy. Ask yourself honestly, does this give me energy or take it? Be rigorous. Some things that appear neutral are actually taking. Some things that seem necessary are actually optional drains. Write down your top 3 sources. You do not need to eliminate them yet. You need to see them clearly. Clear seeing precedes effective action. Day 4, increase silence to 25 minutes. Split into 2 sessions if needed. 15 minutes morning, 10 minutes evening. Observe changes in your mental clarity. Most people notice improvement by day 4. Less internal noise. Fewer repetitive thought loops. More moments of genuine quiet. This indicates the Ka is beginning to gather. Day 5. Reduce exposure to one of your identified drainage sources. You do not need to cut completely. Reduce time. Reduce intensity. Reduce frequency. Observe what happens to your energy level. If it increases, you confirm the source. If it stays the same, that source matters less than you thought. Adjust based on evidence. Day 6. Add physical movement without distraction. Walking works. Stretching works. Any movement that does not involve screens or audio input. The body must participate in the gathering process. Fragmented energy accumulates as physical tension. Movement releases stored tension, allows energy to circulate again. Thoth taught that the body anchors the Ka. If the body is locked, the Ka cannot consolidate. Day 7. Combine all elements. Silence in morning, reduced stimulation through the day, distance from drainage sources, physical movement in afternoon, silence again in evening. At the end of day 7, repeat the 5-minute silence test. Count how many times your mind wanders. Compare with day 1. Most people notice significant reduction. Fewer escapes, more sustained presence, more available energy. This confirms the Ka is gathering. The fragmentation is reversing. The 7-day protocol is beginning, not end. It creates new reference point. It demonstrates what is possible. It proves fragmentation is not permanent, but the system will attempt to revert to previous patterns. Stimuli will return. Drainage sources will approach again. Old habits will present themselves as comfortable options. Your task is maintaining awareness, noticing when fragmentation begins returning, intervening before it consolidates. Thoth taught that freedom is not a state you reach once, it is a practice you maintain. Maintenance requires less effort than initial change, but it still requires attention. There is an aspect most people ignore completely. Fragmentation does not happen randomly, it is induced. The modern environment was specifically designed to fragment attention. Notifications interrupt constantly by design. Content gets cut into smaller pieces by design. Algorithms learn what captures your attention and offer more of it by design. You are not fighting personal weakness. You are fighting a system engineered for extraction. Recognizing this changes your stance. You stop blaming yourself for being tired. You start protecting yourself from design drainage. The shift from self-blame to self-protection changes everything. Thoth indicated that every era has contained drainage systems. The methods changed across centuries. The principle remained constant. Capture mass attention to feed power structures. Ancient temples understood this. Governments understood this. Religious institutions understood this. Modern technology optimized the process, made drainage look like entertainment, made capture look like connection, made fragmentation look like normal life. You are not sick, you are not broken, you are not weak. You are operating within a system designed to extract from you. The first step toward protection is perception. Once you see the mechanism, it loses some of its power. Not all of its power, some, and some is enough to begin. Now you have sufficient context. You understand what Ka Dispersion means. You understand why you feel exhausted without apparent cause. You understand the 4 stages of drainage. You understand how the modern environment induces this process. You have a 7-day protocol to begin reversal. The next step is application. Before closing, execute this gesture. Place your right hand on the center of your chest. Breathe slowly and deeply 3 times. With each exhale, intend scattered energy returning to center. No elaborate visualization required. Energy returning. Center strengthening. 3 breaths with this intention. This gesture anchors what you absorbed. Information without anchoring dissipates quickly. Anchored information remains accessible. Over the next 7 days, apply the protocol. 1 day at a time. Do not attempt everything on day 1. Do not skip stages. The sequence exists for specific reasons. On day 7, evaluate results. Compare your energy level, focus, and presence with day 1. The difference will confirm what Thoth recorded. Fragmentation is not destiny. It is reversible condition. If this content made sense to you, register that. Registration completes the cycle. It marks your position. It signals comprehension. Write in the comments, I gather. This action closes this teaching cycle. Your energy belongs to you. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Where you place it determines what you feed. What you feed grows stronger. What you starve grows weaker. Thoth did not teach passivity. He taught conscious choice. Choose where your attention goes. Choose what you feed with your energy. Choose not to participate in systems designed for extraction. Choice does not guarantee immediate results. It guarantees direction. Direction sustained over time produces transformation. This is the teaching. Application depends on you.